Is that standard English, or is just something unique to Prabhupada? It means sound.
Yeah.
But is it standard English to use it like that?
Yeah. I mean, it's standard. It's poetic English.
Poetic.
Yeah. I mean, it's correct.
Swing.
But it's poetic, and it's kind of like right in tune with the times too, because vibration. Picking up good vibrations. But it's vibration.
He also calls talking vibrating with the tongue.
Yeah, vibrating. And the tongue is for tasting and vibrating. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's very accurate. You know, it's scientific. So actually, Vani literally means instruction, I believe, or words. It's either word or instruction. I don't know Sanskrit, but Vani, I think it means instruction. So vibration, he is present. And I told you that, you know, he's corrected Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And there was never a moment when I didn't feel my Guru Maharaj right by my side through his Vani, his everlasting Vani. So that's certainly one way we can all connect with Srila Prabhupada. You know, it's nice when we become students of his writings, but it's also a treasure house in Prabhupada's recordings, because they really complement each other. You know, the books and the recordings, the spoken word and the written word. It's good to be students of both, and you get the full, even more of Prabhupada. Because very often in the spoken word you get a lot of application of the written word. Because people are asking questions, you know, it's very detailed. Okay, so that's one way, connect by sound vibration. Another way, connect by finding and making your best contribution to our founder Acharya's mission. This, of course, resonates with finding our mission in his mission. And Prabhupada's ISKCON Sangha, the way Prabhupada set it up, it's very mission-oriented. Human life is a mission, ISKCON is a mission. It's a society, for sure, but it's very mission-oriented. It's very purposeful. It's not a casual club. It's not a vegetarian club or a lonely hearts club. Or, I mean, there's many aspects to a society, you know. Certainly, you know, marriage is one, and eating prasadam is a big thing. But over and above everything else, it's a mission, and we're going to look at a quote now. Quote, one becomes serious to follow the mission of the spiritual master. His resolution is tantamount, it amounts to, it's equal to seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, an extraordinary statement. When you become serious to do the mission, to follow the mission, that's as good as seeing God, Prabhupada's saying. You don't find people living at Radhakund usually saying stuff like that. Right? They might tell you something else. They might say it at the lower platform. But Krishna says, what does it say in the Gita 18:68-9? And I declare that one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, what is it?
The be most dear to me.
Yeah, but how does it? Where's the Gita?
Well, for one who explains this...
Secret devotees, the devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. And then, there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he. Right? Nor will there ever be one more dear to me. But keep it for, you know, maybe keep it off the map, because that's where I put my bottom. Thank you very much. Okay, so that's Prabhupada's move. And here's more, listen to, there's more in the purport too. Prabhupada not only says that, but he says he can't resist criticizing another mood here. In conclusion, if a disciple is very serious to execute the mission of the spiritual master, he immediately associates with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the only secret of success in seeing the Supreme Personality of God. If you want to see God, you've got to be serious about doing what Krishna wants. And what's Krishna's mission here? It's to reclaim us. Sometimes it's called Krishna's most glorious pastime, to reclaim the fallen souls. You know, all the leelas Krishna has, Rasa Leela, this and Leela, that Leela. Krishna's Leela of coming and bringing us home, all us runaways. That's sometimes called Krishna's greatest pastimes. Instead of being eager to see the Lord in some bush of Vrindavan, Prabhupada can't resist, huh? Instead of being eager to see the Lord in some bush of Vrindavan. What's going on?
The boy is up
On the roof? Somebody's on the roof?
the boy
His
The
boy.
boy.
His boy.
Oh. Don't sue us, please. Is that your boy? Whose boy is it?
His boy.
Okay. Okay, good. Instead of being eager to see the Lord in some bush of Vrindavan, while at the same time engaging in sense gratification, if one instead sticks to the principle of following the words of the spiritual master, he will see the Supreme Lord without difficulty. So he's taking a swipe at the sahajas, right? We're trying to see Krishna in some bush of Vrindavan. Once I was in Vrindavan, I was shopping at Loy Bazaar, where Prabhupada said, you don't find Krishna loitering in Loy Bazaar. So I was at a shop, I was, trying to find something or buy something. And then right down the street came a classic sight. It was a group of old men, and they were dressed as gopis. And they were making these grotesque expressions, and they were moving their bodies in these very sensuous ways. And there was this old man beating a drum right in the back of them. Boom, boom, boom. It was bizarre. So I looked at the shopkeeper and I said, Gopi Bob? And he got a funny look on his face. He said, maybe a little cracked. So it looked like a classic Sahaja kind of chorus line or something. So, our Father Acaraya said we can see Krishna face to face when we get serious about Krishna's mission, the mission of the Guru, Krishna's mission. As Prabhupada would say, my Guru Maharaj used to say, don't try to see God. You work in such a way that God will see you. It descends. He comes and he's very pleased. It is healthy to reflect on how our Shiksha and Diksha Gurus are helping us contribute to Srila Prabhupada's mission. They are the most important people in our life. Now one may ask, does developing our foundational relationship with Srila Prabhupada mean we are jumping over our Diksha and Shiksha Gurus? What does jumping over mean anyway? Now believe it or not, that's not a monkey. You know what it is?
What are they called? They're called
They're native to
Madagascar.
Madagascar.
Yes.
They're called
Lemurs.
lemurs.
lemur,
Lemurs.
lemur. It rhymes with femur, a bone in your leg. Yeah, so he was the best jumper. He beat out all the monkeys on Google Images. So I chose a lemur.
I see all of them.
Oh, and this is an audio, you're right. See, I forget my own words. So I'm going to set you up for this. It was Prabhupada who himself said no jumping over. In the early 1970s, as more devotees started to visit India, some were fascinated by Gaudiya Math books available in English, especially those of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So they asked Srila Prabhupada if they could read them. Let's listen to Srila Prabhupada's response. So this is LA, I believe.
We cannot divide what my spiritual master said. All even who read some books, you cannot understand unless you understand it from me. This is called Prabhupada. You cannot jump over to the superior guru. I will say, neglecting the next other, immediate next other.
So it's true. If I'm a new guy coming into ISKCON, if I'm Bhagavanji, if I'm lucky, the senior devotees will insist that I get to know Prabhupada's life, teachings, mood, and mission. They'll really try to ground me in Prabhupada's books, but with their help. I need their help, and I still need their help. It's not just me and Prabhupada. You know? At the same time, Prabhupada is the Jagat Guru. So here's what I write in that connection. Because it says, Prabhupada says, immediate next Acharya. We're all supposed to be Acharyas. We're all supposed to be teachers by example. But we're all supposed to make Prabhupada's Vani, his books especially, the center of our study, and we're supposed to see all teachers and teachings through his eyes. So here's what I write here. Since during his brief time with us, Srila Prabhupada was the only bona fide guru we knew, we did not deeply understand his unique position as our founder Acharya. There's many Acharyas, but founder Acharya is a guru of another level. After Srila Prabhupada's disappearance, ISKCON's new gurus too often confused following him with imitating him, and the consequences were devastating. Over time, we've come to realize that the role of our Shiksha and Diksha gurus is to deepen, enhance, and enrich our foundational relationship with Srila Prabhupada. If, quote, no jumping over means no neglecting one's immediate next Acharya, how much more does that apply to Srila Prabhupada, our foundational Acharya, through whom we see all teachers and teachings? So, yeah, no jumping over. We can't just get the books and on our own just jump to some realization. You know, we need help. We need living teachers to help us understand the books. As Prabhupada would say, you can't become a doctor just by getting the medical books. You have to have a medical teacher. Or you can't just become a lawyer by getting the law books. You need law teachers. How much more is that of true transcendence? We need pure devotees to help us understand. So no jumping over, but there's another jumping. No jumping into. And now we're going to hear the recording we've heard before. This is the only time I did this. I think it's so important. I want us to hear it again. To establish a genuine guru-disciple relationship, we shouldn't jump into it prematurely. So Srila Prabhupada will now remind us of what he has already told us in lesson 7. Here he is in Miami.
Nobody should accept blindly any guru, and nobody should blindly accept any result. They must behave one another, at least for 1 year. This is the instruction by how to study. Everybody wants to learn.
And what did we say behave meant?
Check out.
Check out, yeah. Examine, test, inspect. Okay. The more deeply we can, mature devotees will help ground us in our foundational relationship with our founder Acharya. As we get to know ourselves in relationship to Srila Prabhupada, with a cool head, we will be able to aspire for Diksha Shiksha gurus who can help us make our best contribution to his mission. Now, the more deeply we do connect with Srila Prabhupada, the more responsibility we have to pass on his unique legacy to others. I don't know if I told you this, but a couple of years ago, I was in Mayapur giving an homage to Prabhupada. I think I did tell you. Maybe I'll tell you. And I said to the devotees, because most of the devotees, now, 39 years after Prabhupada's disappearance, never saw Prabhupada. So I said, now, don't tell me anymore that you can't imagine what it will be like when the last Prabhupada disciple leaves the earth. Don't tell me that anymore. You think it's only the responsibility of us, oldie but goodies, oldie moldies, dinosaurs, endangered species. Do you think it's only our responsibility to deeply connect with Prabhupada? And that's why you're worried what's going to happen unless Prabhupada initiate kicks the bucket? Dies? You know where kicks the bucket comes from? From when they used to hang people. Then they'd stand them on a bucket, and then when they kick the bucket, that means they were off the ground. Or Saved by the Bell, you know where that came from? If you go to a graveyard, in the old days, before they had more scientific methods of determining if someone's really dead, sometimes they buried people alive, and they didn't know they weren't really dead, because they were just in a coma or something. So when this started happening in Europe, and sometimes people would be in graveyards and they'd hear noises, like somebody's banging or calling, "Hey, get me out of here, I'm awake." So then they started installing bells, or ropes, and then the bell would be on top of the ground, and you could pull the bell if you were still alive. That's Saved by the Bell. That's weird, huh? Okay, Kali was weird. The more deeply we connect with Srila Prabhupada, that's because you're supposed to be cremated, right? That's more auspicious. Get rid of that karma. The more we deeply connect with Srila Prabhupada, the more responsibility we have to pass on his unique legacy to others. And so now it's really all about we're all supposed to connect with Prabhupada deeply, every generation, by passing it on, the legacy. And then, here's one of my favorite purports of Prabhupada's telling us how to properly represent the parampara, because we're all being invited to participate in the parampara and be the next, teachers. So it's from Bhagavatam 141, where, I forget the exact context, but in the purport to 141, it's the appearance of Sri Narada. Oh, and Sutta is being, or Shonika Rishi, or Sutta, I forget which one. You're being praised. Anyway, that's not so relevant. But Prabhupada talks about how to represent the parampara. And it's very challenging, but it's enlivening too at the same time. So who wants to read? Oop. Let's say get it right. Sarang. Yeah. Accent the first syllable. Sarang.
Sun.
Like the sun.
Sun.
Like the sun.
Just say sun.
Kirko. Can I call you Kirko? Okay. Sarang. Kirko. You know what Prabhupada called Shuddha Kirko? Shuddha.
Yeah.
Just the first day, and then that was only one day. All right, there it is.
Personal realization does not mean that one should, out of vanity, attempt to show one's own learning by trying to surpass the previous Acharya. He must have full confidence in the previous Acharya, and at the same time he must realize the subject matter so nicely that he can present the matter for the particular circumstances in the suitable manner. The original purpose of the text must be maintained.
That's Prabhupada's emphasis too, his italics. The original purpose of the text must be maintained.
No obscure meaning should be screwed out of it, yet it should be presented in an interesting manner for the understanding of the audience. This is called realization.
This is called realization. It's no cheap thing. To be blessed by the depth of one's surrender, to be blessed, to know how to keep the message intact, right? But present it very creatively and just appropriately to the time, the place, the people. And that takes realization. This is called realization. And that Prabhupada is the best example of that. He called it old wine in new bottles. Okay, and so the way we end the lesson, before the question and answer, is I just took directly from that book, Srila Prabhupada, the Founder Acharya, that the GBC printed, that came out from our committee in 2014 that Rabindra Srila Prabhu wrote through many years, many drafts. I mean, we put him through the ringer, put him through his paces. But at the end, there's all these beautiful summative points, the summary points of the benefits of deeply understanding Prabhupada's position as the founder of Acaraya, both individually and collectively. This kind of sums up, the purpose of the seminar, and it's really important. So why don't we do it one by one? Lalita Prabhu, why don't you read the first one?
Benefits of deeply understanding Srila Prabhupada's position. Generation after generation will be able to receive the special mercy offered by Srila Prabhupada. The path back to Godhead he opened will become ever increasingly traveled. Special mercy. Now, see, we're not sectarian. We don't say that Prabhupada is the only way back to Godhead. We're not Baptist Krishnas. Prabhupada is the way, the light, the truth. No one cometh unto Krishna but by Srila Prabhupada. Put your hands on the TV set now and heal. This is what these preachers. That's a very American example. Do they have? That's American TV. If I hear you watch American TV,
Not those.
You've seen them in movies.
In movies, okay, in movies, that's right. Well, they're still around.
Yeah. Anything that smells.
Southern Baptists.
It doesn't exist in Europe, really. Anything that smells of religion is carefully screened out.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So anyway, we don't say that. Come on, there are many pure devotees around, but it says Prabhupada he's unique. He's uniquely empowered to know how to inspire people all over the world. Not just in India, or not just in a certain sectarian way, but he knows how to engage and inspire, and he created a whole society, and there's places, even in Copenhagen, Denmark, or where's some other places? So many places. Santiago, Chile, Phoenix, South Africa. There's this kind of centers. So many places. And he's given us something to do. He's given us a broad, and every town and village. He's appealing to people from all walks of life. There's so much to do. I have given you the framework. Prabhupada said now you have to fill in the rest. And that's enough for the next 10,000 years. So if we really deeply understand Prabhupada's unique position, even among founder acharyas, what to speak of gurus, then we'll feel honored and privileged to serve his mission. The path back to Godhead he opened will be ever increasingly traveled. And he said in connection with Varnashram too that we have to make the way easy. So everybody has to be engaged properly according to their natures. Okay, another bullet point. Someone else? You want to read? What's your name?
My name is Raghav.
Raghav.
Yes.
As in Lord Ram?
Yeah, it's the name from.
Right. Okay. Alright, Raghav Prabhu, read this.
Srila Prabhupada's active presence will secure the unity and integrity of ISKCON, strengthening both the GBC and Guru discipline bonds.
Guru disciple bonds, right. That's a big challenge, his active presence. We have to understand how Prabhupada is present in so many ways in ISKCON, and strengthening both the GBC and Guru disciple bonds. That's, if you read that Founder Acharya booklet, as Rabindra Prabhu puts it, it's one central challenge we have in ISKCON is integrating the ancient, the timeless guru-disciple relationship into a society where all the devotees really owe their highest allegiance to the founder Acharya, who insists that we cooperate with his authority structure. It's not easy, because we don't always agree with the decisions of the GBC, right? As Bhakti Taruswami puts it, he says, if the GBC should say to me tomorrow, I'm sorry, Maharaj, but the way you've been speaking for the past year and behaving, we don't want you to initiate for the next few years. You're on probation. So he says, if I call myself a follower of Srila Prabhupada, I will heed that instruction. I won't turn on my heels in a huff, walk out of ISKCON and bring all my disciples with me, because I didn't get my way. Or I didn't want to be disciplined by a governing body. Nobody's independent. No guru, no God family, no individual GBC. Everybody's accountable. And we're still working on how to make that so. Because sometimes it doesn't appear that way, right? But that's a challenge. So his active presence will secure the unity and integrity of ISKCON. Prabhupada is that unity amidst the diversity. Okay, another bullet point. Who wants to read? You want to read? This is your good wife?
Yes.
Can you see through the pillar?
Yeah, I'm able to see.
Okay. I mean around the pillar. Alright?
By taking full shelter of Sri Prabhupada as Shiksha Guru in his Vani manifestation, all teachers in ISKCON on a various level of advancement will be able to authentically convey Sri Prabhupada real teaching, thus giving proper guidance, shelter and protection to all.
Yes. Full shelter of Prabhupada as Shiksha Guru. In other words, if Prabhupada's teachings are really the center of our study, then we won't, twist his words. I mean, that happens a lot. But if we're really fully immersed, then we'll know in a very balanced way, as I say sometimes. It's really in the well-rounded Sangha of serious and sincere devotees who are strictly following Prabhupada's teachings that the true Prabhupada emerges, that you don't get a fictional Prabhupada. So proper, and thus giving proper guidance, shelter, and protection to all. There's a million tricks, there's a million temptations, there's a million tests that Maya can throw at us to try to get us off track, take us off on a tangent. Vishnu John Swami once told me, he had just been with Prabhupada, and then he came, and then he said to me, Prabhupada told me that Maya's job is to make sure that no riffraff get back to Godhead. You know what riffraff is? It means like nonsense people. We can't go home if we're full of, hidden agendas and material desires and weird, trips. So, by taking full shelter of Srila Prabhupada. So again, the founder Acharya is not simply a previous Acharya, he's not simply our upline, the parampara, but it's his teachings are the center of our meditation. Okay, so another bullet point. I forgot your name already. Kim, what? What it is? Right there, Kim.
ISKCON's teaching will remain consistent over space and time.
That's really a big one. Consistent. Consistent, and yet, remember that quote from the purport? And yet, it doesn't mean static. It's always dynamic, but the essence is consistent. But the way it's presented can be creative, dynamic, fresh. Prabhupada said old wine in new bottles. But the teachings will be consistent. That's one thing George liked about Prabhupada. He was always consistent. He was always the same. He wasn't